Some call it the business of the 21st century. Many call it the recession-proof business. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett called it simply the best investment I ever made. It's an industry that has grown steadily for the past 20 years, jumping over 91% in just the past 10. An industry that enjoys annual sales of over $30 billion in the U.S. and over $100 billion worldwide. An industry called direct selling. And for the 13 million Americans and 55 million people worldwide who are part of it today, business is booming. Why is business booming? There are 4 reasons. Word-of-mouth advertising, the home-based business boom, low risk, high return, and no experience required. As citizens of the information age, we're constantly bombarded by messages, TV, print, billboards, banner ads. The reality is that we just don't trust the media overload anymore. But we do still trust the personal recommendations of our friends and family. It's a simple fact of human nature every Hollywood producer knows well. Nothing sells better than a friend's recommendation. Call it referral marketing, word of mouth, one-to-one. Whatever you call it, it's big business, and it's what's driving direct selling. Instead of paying millions for traditional advertising, direct selling companies pay the people who use, love, and enthusiastically talk about their products and services. These person-to-person recommendations might take place at work, in a coffee shop, on the phone, on the internet, or anywhere. Legendary management expert and best-selling author Tom Peters calls direct selling the first truly revolutionary shift in marketing. A generation ago, the safest path to financial success was to go to school and get a good job with a good company. Going into business for yourself was risky. Today, it's just the opposite. Today, more than 1 out of every 8 U.S. households contains a home-based business. According to world-renowned economist Paul Zane-Pilzer, we're in the midst of a boom in home-based businesses, and it shows no sign of slowing. And working from home means no more commute and no more boss. You get to choose when you work, how you work, and with whom you work. You know, it used to be the only way to secure a pension and good health care coverage was to work as a company employee. Not anymore. Home-based business is not the wave of the future. It's the wave of the present. As a recent Fortune magazine cover story put it, forget the paycheck. Your W-2 days are over. It's a 1099 world now. In fact, recent changes in U.S. tax law have leveled the playing field, giving home-based entrepreneurs the same kind of tax-deferred savings and benefits as corporate employees. What's more, having a home-based business allows you to claim substantial deductions. That can mean significant savings to you. Creating your own business from scratch can be expensive and risky, but not with direct selling. Why? Because the typical direct selling company provides you with all the tools, systems, and training you need to be up and profitable almost immediately and with low startup costs. This ease of entry makes direct selling a practical, accessible method for millions to earn additional part-time income without having to quit their job. This was the aspect of direct selling that caught the eye of best-selling author and financial planning expert David Bach. The beauty of direct selling is that it's all done for you. All you need to do is find a reputable company that offers a product or service you believe in and can get passionate about. And Jim Collins, best-selling author of Built to Last and Good to Great, sums up the advantages of direct selling this way. This business offers the most systematic way for ordinary individuals to achieve economic success. Perhaps the strongest reason of all for the stunning success and extraordinary popularity of direct selling is simply this. Anyone can do it. Success in direct selling doesn't require any specialized education or business background. You won't find any glass ceilings or gender discrimination either. Worldwide best-selling author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, says, it's an entrepreneurial opportunity where people can use their talent and their passion towards a greater good. Direct selling companies have been a part of the American fabric for more than 100 years. But over the last few years, the industry has begun taking off like a rocket as high-profile business experts and Fortune 500 companies have started buying into its phenomenal success. Famed stock market investment expert Warren Buffett startled Wall Street in 2002 when he purchased a major direct selling company through his holding company, Berkshire Hathaway. Buffett now owns 3 direct selling companies and says, it's the best investment I ever made. And Warren Buffett's not the only one. A steady stream of major investors have seen the future and are buying in. From Hallmark Cards and Reader's Digest to Sir Richard Branson, the billionaire behind Virgin Records and Virgin Atlantic Airways, and Citigroup to Time Warner, everyone is getting on board. And now, you know the reasons why. Your success is driven by word-of-mouth advertising through a home-based business with low risk and high return that anyone can do, regardless of your age, financial status, education, or experience. For the 13 million Americans and 55 million people worldwide already engaged, business is absolutely booming. If you're ready to start building your own direct selling business, please get back to the person who gave you this video presentation.
Do you ever feel like you're backpedaling even though you're following the rules? You work long hours, tolerate your boss, you get an annual raise, and you try to save money and budget wherever you can.
Clearly, you're working the known system for financial success, but something is very wrong.
The rules are not working. The system has broken down.
You're barely making ends meet, let alone getting ahead.
And retirement? Forget it. You're living day by day. You want to build financial security and wealth, but it's just not happening.
So where exactly has playing by the rules gotten you?
If you can change your outlook, change some of your values, and change your rules, you'll find there's a whole other set of rules out there that are more conducive for people who want to be rich.
Financial expert, educator, successful investor, and best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki is about to give you the information you need to implement a realistic, achievable plan of building and growing wealth.
Kiyosaki is the New York Times best-selling author of, among other books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
To date, the series has sold 20 million plus copies worldwide. Today, Kiyosaki shares his revolutionary wisdom with you, just as his rich dad shared it with him.
It's information that can take you from working for money to your money working for you.
Information that can set you free.
The story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is really a story of 2 different fathers with 2 different sets of values and completely different sets of advice. So I don't mean to insult anybody or, to damage your values, but really that was the difference. For example, my poor dad always said, go to school, get good grades, get a high-paying job, work hard, live below your means, save money, get out of debt, have a good retirement plan. And that was my poor dad's values. My rich dad said, you probably won't get rich doing that way because very few people get rich following that plan. If you take a look at this 40-year run on the dollar is designed economically to lose money every single year. So why would you save something that loses money every year? And what this means with somebody on retirement plans is that after you retire, the value of your dollar goes down and your cost of living keeps going up. To my rich dad, that was bad advice and made no sense. Again, it was different values. An important diagram my rich dad showed me when I was a little boy was a diagram known as a cash flow quadrant. And the quadrant is made up of the 4 different people who make up the world of business. So my rich dad said, in the world of business, there's E's. And E's stand for employees. An employee, he says, you can always tell who they are by their core values. And what the employee, whether the president or the janitor of the company, will always say the same words. The words are, I'm looking for a safe, secure job with benefits. That's what makes them an employee, because their core values are security. The other one of the 4 is the S, or the small business owner or the self-employed. And again, their core values will cause them to use the same words, which are, if you want it done right, do it by yourself. S means they're also solo. They're generally one-person act, or they operate by themselves. On the right side of the quadrant are the B's. And what Rich Dad said the B stood for was big business, or like Bill Gates. Forbes defines big business as 500 employees or more. And their words are different. They say, I'm looking for a good system, a good network, and the smartest people I know to help run my business. So they're unlike the S. They don't want to run the company by themselves. They want smart people to run their companies for them. And then the 4th of the quadrant is the I, and I stands for investor. These are people who have money work hard for them. These people are people who have people work hard for them. And these are the people that work hard for the rich here. So early on in my life, it was my poor dad who always said to me, you know, Robert, go to school and get a high-paying job. And so my poor dad's core value was to be an employee. He wanted job security, promotions, a steady paycheck, and all this. And so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, you know, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned, and something you could pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said work hard, but my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you can get fired from right away? Again, that was a difference in values. So my rich dad suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So the beauty of building a business and learning how to invest is very simply that this is passive income. You work hard for a few years, but possibly for the rest of your life, income keeps flowing to you. One of the reasons I consider a direct selling business a perfect business is very simply because the company will work with you to get the business skills that make you rich. Always remember that it's not money that makes you rich, it's business skills. And that's why it's a perfect business. They'll take as long as you like to get the skills to make the money. And that's a lifetime skill thing. The other part about it is the low startup costs. You know, where else can you get in for under $500 and get these skills? For people who want to make the shift over to the B quadrant, which is what I would recommend for people, one of the beauties of a network marketing company is that you can do that for a very low price. And that's why I talk to people about considering network marketing. If you're to build a Microsoft, it would take you hundreds of millions of dollars. But a network marketing company allows you to start at a very low rate. They'll be patient with you. They'll take their time to transition over here. And the reason why that time is so important to most people is it takes time to change those values. And the most important thing is once you take the time, let's say it takes 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever time it takes, once you see the value or the core values of this side and this side, you're unstoppable. Today, I would never go back and get a job. Why should I? I'd rather stay on this side, build companies, pay less taxes, and make more money. But the key is a person needs to change the values from my poor dad to the values of my rich dad. And that's one of the beauties of network marketing companies. They allow you the time, and at very low cost, they'll work with you to make that transition over there. The number one asset a person can build is build a business. That is the smartest thing you can do. Years ago, I decided not to follow the corporate ladder simply because, again, it was values. You know, my poor dad always said, go to school and get a high-paying job with the government or a big corporation. But my rich dad said, why would you work so hard It's something you'll never own. You can't sell your job. You can't pass it on to your kids. So to me, it never made any sense. It made more sense to build my own business and hire other people. The other reason is that you really don't have much control if you're in the corporate ladder world. For example, you can get fired at any time, or today we have what's called M&As, or mergers and acquisitions, where another company buys another company. So you could be a great employee, but the company that buys your company just fires you. Not a get-rich-quick formula. You don't just do it overnight. It takes time. I still remember the first time I made that transition was back in 1978 when I fully quit my job and I had to depend upon my company that I was building to support me. So I understand the fear. The beauty, the most important thing to remember is this. There's two kinds of people in the world. There are the types that will say, you'll never make it. And I had a lot of people, a lot of friends and family saying that. You're stupid, don't do it. And the second type were the people that said, go for it, you can do it. Don't worry about it, we'll cover you. So the most important thing is support of friends and family. One of the beauties of a direct selling company is that they provide that personal support to you for as long as it takes you to make the journey from the left side to my rich dad side. One of the challenges of being self-employed is that you're your own boss. You're the solo act. Like in the S quadrant, you're the individual. You do it on your own. Whereas in the B quadrant, you're a team player. You have to depend upon your team and count on your team. So the problem with being an S is that, let's say you're in a traffic accident, there goes your income. And let's say you get older and you haven't set enough money aside to retire on, that means you'll probably have to work for the rest of your life because you don't have anybody else to fall back on, not a team to count on. So one of the problems with the S, although most people say it's the most satisfying of all work, it is a solo act, and you're totally on your own. Personally, I'd rather be a member of a team. They can count on me and I can count on them. We all know the world has changed, but sometimes the hardest thing to change is ourselves. And being an old guy, I sort of know the older I get, I sometimes get more set in my ways. And I think that's one of the things that a direct selling business offers people, why it's the perfect business. They allow you to take your time to make the mental, emotional, and physical changes required to move from the left side to the rich dad side. I think that's a big thing. It's a very gracious, it's a very elegant way, it's a patient way of supporting you in making the changes of your life. So please remember, change always creates upset, but sometimes we all know we have to make those changes. And if you know it's time for you to make that change, then the perfect business may be a direct selling business for you.
Hi, I'm Matt Ketman with Time Magazine. I'm here today with Robert Kiyosaki. He is the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which has been translated into more than 50 languages and is the #1 personal finance book in the history of the world. Thank you for joining us today, Robert.
Thank you.
This question comes to us from A.J. Gupta from Grays Lake, Illinois. If you did not have the rich dad in your life, what would you be doing today?
It's hard to say if I didn't have my rich dad because as a young kid, starting at probably about the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I really wanted to be rich. So I think number one is desire, and then you naturally seek your role models and teachers. And in my lifetime, I've had multiple rich dads. My rich dad was my best friend's father starting at the age of 9. And then today, I still seek mentors and wise men and wise women because that's how you get wiser, is by hanging out with smart people.
And this one comes to us from Lagos, Nigeria. What made you write Conspiracy of the Rich?
It goes back to why don't we have financial education in our schools? I mean, good question, right?
Right.
And how come the tax laws are different for different people? There's 4 things that make the most 90% of the people poor. Number 1 is taxes. 2 is debt, the college loans, house loans, car payments, credit cards. 3 is inflation. Everything goes up because taxes go up. It's not because things are more expensive. There's taxes. If I have to pay more taxes, I have to pass that on. And the 4th thing that makes people poor is a retirement plan, that 401k or the IRA or their SIP. I don't need a retirement plan because all of my assets produce income. So like I have 1,400 apartments. Every month I get a check. Why do I need a retirement plan? I have 8 oil wells. Every month I get a check.
Are there some people who should play it safe and do the traditional route and just pick up a house, pay the mortgage.
That's probably the most dangerous thing you can do today. What's happening in the Western world, in America, we're going to become a third world nation. Rich and poor, that's it. The middle class is being wiped out. So the people in the middle, whoever's left in there, will be the ones paying the taxes, the debt, the inflation. You know what I mean? Right. The middle class is the one, they're the pack mule.
Is there any way a government can help this, or is it really based on the individual to come up?
You have to decide which side of the fence you're on, rich or poor. Yeah. Make up your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make up your mind. I made up my mind. It's rich dad, poor dad. I want to listen to my old man, a PhD. You know, the government will take care of me. You save your money. And as you're saving your money, the Federal Reserve is printing trillions of dollars. I mean, how stupid can you be? And invest your money for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of mutual funds. Send it straight to Wall Street so that they can pay their brokers $10 million a year bonuses. I mean, how stupid does a person have to be? I mean, wake up.
Do they teach you that in college-level economics or no?
Hell no. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not.
By design.
If you read Conspiracy of the Rich, 1903, John D. Rockefeller took over the financial education system by creating the General Education Board. And since then, the rich have controlled what is taught at schools.
This question comes to us from Tokyo. Jay Sienna asks, you always say that your poor dad forbade everyone to talk about money at the dinner table. Did you ever ask him why? And at your dinner table now, are people allowed to talk about money?
That's all I talk about is about money. Tell me something money does not affect. Does money affect education? Absolutely. If you have money, you can go to the best schools. Look at George Bush.
Right. This one comes from Laredo, Texas, from Steven San Ramon. When you and your wife were living out of your car, how did you remain so confident that you would be able to accumulate enough wealth to not only retire rich, but young as well?
Well, confidence comes from discipline and training. I think one of the best things that happened for me was I kept flunking out of school. And I realized it wasn't school that was a problem, it was a lack of discipline. And so that's one of the reasons that I went to military school. The military trains you that there's 4 strengths. There's mental strength, emotional strength, physical strength, and spiritual strength. So that's what kind of kept me going.
Is there a time to bail out on a project, though? I mean, when...
I don't that's not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Look, I have an unfair advantage, you know. I went to war. And at war, I'm alive because other guys died for me. When you see stuff like that, you know, how can I quit? Most guys are just wimps, cowards. They don't have it. So they should get a job.
Muhammad Zafar asks, is it possible for a person with no money and few resources to still make a fortune? How?
Get off your butt. You have to get smart. You have to look for teachers. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like I said, you know, if you want to be a mechanic, you go hang out with mechanics. You know, you want to be a school teacher, hang out with school teachers.
Right.
Right? It's really simple. I mean, and it takes determination, discipline, drive, correction. Can't quit.
I am delighted to have this opportunity to talk to so many of the salespeople who help our economy grow and help keep the American dream alive for millions of Americans. In America, if you work hard and play by the rules, if you take responsibility for yourself and your family, you should have all the opportunity you need for a better future. That's America's basic bargain. It's what I've worked to promote as president, and it's what the work of direct selling helps to promote each and every day. You strengthen our country and our economy not just by striving for your own success, but by offering opportunity to others. You're also part of a global movement that promotes enterprise and rewards individual initiative, and you've seen remarkable growth both at home and abroad. Last year, there were more than 7 million Americans in the direct sales industry. An average of 69,000 new distributors and salespeople join your industry every week. In addition to providing opportunity, you build our American community. Americans from every walk of life, every race, every creed are seizing the opportunities of direct sales. More than 300,000 of you are over the age of 65. More than 500,000 of you have some kind of disability. 3/4 of you are women, trying to strengthen your families and raise strong children without the fear that a glass ceiling will hold you down. In a very real way, your work promotes our values all around the globe. There are now more than 21 million direct salespeople worldwide doing business in 125 countries. I've followed your industry's growth for years now, and even I was amazed to learn that there are more than 100,000 direct salespeople in Russia and over 600,000 in China. But we need even more of the kind of opportunity direct selling represents. Your industry gives people a chance, after all, to make the most of their own lives. And to me, that's the heart of the American dream. I thank you for keeping it strong for so many millions of people and for expanding it to more people every day. Thank you for your work. God bless you, and God bless America.